In this episode, you'll get a breakdown of the quote: "The wound you hide becomes the prison you live in, and why your deepest shame is your greatest power waiting to be claimed." Welcome to Energy Alignment for Entrepreneurs, the podcast helping entrepreneurs be free from anxiety, stress, and tension through balancing emotions and consciousness expansion. Here's 3 things that you'll learn today. Number 1, why the thing you're most ashamed of contains your unique medicine for the world. Number 2, how hiding your story keeps you performing instead of living. Number 3, the alchemical process turning your wound into your wisdom, your pain into your purpose. Okay, the quote: "The wound you hide becomes the prison you live in." This just screams we are going to go through life, and our nervous system will, over time, grow insensitive. And through feeling, you have a choice to process or to run away and then store that feeling for later. It is not always conscious, and that is okay. But it is of the utmost importance that we have honesty and openness around the things that we are carrying, the things which create those snappy reactions, those little petty attitudes, those easily offendable moments. We need to bring presence and awareness into our relationship with others, because then we start to see that, man, every time one of those triggers occurs, we have a choice. It's a split second, millisecond, extremely fast option. But that is, do we bring breath to that intensity, which is born in some part of our vessel? Sometimes it's the gut, sometimes it's the heart, sometimes it's the mind, could be the throat, anywhere else. But ultimately, we need to bring this awareness, this openness, this non-judging attention and space to our energetic blockages, our triggers, as they arise in the moment, for the wound to be alchemized, for the wound to not turn into a stored traumatic experience. Now, ultimately, this doesn't have to be hard. It can be seen as a play, whereas you do not have any pressure to do anything in any certain way. There isn't, this podcast, this transmission isn't about saying, be like this. It's rather saying, do you see what you are? That's what I'm pointing the energy and awareness to. Look at who you are. Because then when you bring that change through energy and commitment, you stop running, you stop hiding, and then the things which you used to keep in the dark corners, that still took up space, energy. But now those dark corners are having a flashlight shined upon them. And you have this invitation to get rid of and take out all of the things which you have been trapped or hoarding, rather. And a lot of the times, the hoarding is to our unknowingness. We tend to have been hurt consciously or just not be strong enough until we are. And then you see what you haven't been looking at, and it's a big change. It's kind of like, man, I've been swimming upstream my whole life. How about I just take a chance and let the current guide me? And in other words, you just get trapped in a prison because what happens is what I said. When you hide stuff in the dark, it still takes up energy. Fundamentally, the prison is where your energy is being wasted. That's the prison. And one of the quotes on my wall, very simple. It's basically the simple act of avoiding that which makes you go weak. That's all wisdom comes down to. Wisdom is just being able to avoid that which makes you go weak. And you learn by feeling, by being open, and you're vibrational awareness moment to moment, that sensitivity just compounds consciousness, the dark corners of the unconscious. Now your body, your temple, your being is filled with light. So the dark corners, those recesses, where things hide and things are dirty and maybe, unkept, dusty, those boxes get opened. You look at everything you've been storing within your psyche, within your being, within your consciousness. And therefore, that's how you break down the prison doors. And it all is starting from realizing, man, I have the courage to look at the wounds. I'm done hoarding. I'm done hiding. I'm done leaving this house unchecked. So if we move from the quote to point number one says, why the thing you're most ashamed of contains your unique medicine for the world. And yeah, let's take a live case study myself. What would I be most ashamed of? I think in the past, something which I don't know if shame is the word, but one of the most hard experiences for me was my illusion, my conditioning of expecting my father to be some dream movie character, right? And then when it turned out that my life just wasn't exactly like that, basically I never lost it, but all simultaneously I could feel the conflict within my being of, wow, I had all these mental expectations and ideas programmed into my psyche, and that's not what my life is. And that gave me this feeling of doubt and second guessing myself and shame, if you will, in relationship to, is it my fault? Like, am I always asked why, but that's the thing about certain questions like what if and why. Sometimes that's not where your energy is meant to be. I would say very frequently, your energy is not meant to be put into logic questioning of things which you will never have certainty around. Now, everyone has different fields in life, but really my field that I love is not trying to change the darkness or have certainty around things I can't control, but rather see and feel that the intelligence of the nervous system is actually communicating something beyond logical mental conception. And that is that the intelligence of the nervous system shows you that you have the power to be peaceful by learning to trust the uncertainty of this intelligence, which has created your being, your mind, your gut, your heart, your organs, and this entire world and all of matter. Um, the intelligence which runs the world, if you look in many different examples, we just have to look a little closely. Um, but for example, on my desktop, the detail of this seal that I'm looking at in image, the absolute immensity of detail within the animal kingdom, within trees, within nature, within different insects, within even the particles of sand or the snowflakes, um, each droplet of water. My point is, you don't need to divide everything until the micro particle until you can't split the particle anymore. But you ultimately just learn to see, man, there's and you see that questioning logical why and what if is never actually going to be the truth. In other words, when you stop hiding your story, when we look at point number 2, let's hop into that. How hiding your story keeps you performing instead of living. When you stop hiding your story and you stop performing, you begin to have a change in your perception and sight, which allows for a real life to be born, true living, a something more than a shallow existence, but just a renewing of your life, meaning you appreciate all the things which you were previously blind to. And that happens because you start to unravel the things which are false. You do not have a beautiful connection, or communion or change in your heart by forcing it, or by seeking with obsessive, how do I put it? You need to devote and commit, but it cannot be this quest of unhealthy, unhinged, like spiritual seeking with a desire to embezzle your identity or your being. Like, the funny part about this is it's not about you. It takes you to realize that it's not about you. And then you start to see, man, your story itself, specific to your life, is so beautiful. And only you can let that path unfold. And you can't force it into existence. But you have a special power and a specific role to play on this game, in this play that we're in. And that's what takes you out of that weak vibration of performance and invites you into, man, I'm going to thrive. I'm going to flow, dance, listen to the beat, feel the rhythm, and, you know, let this thing all work out. So you stop hiding your story because you bring awareness to the wound. And when you're honest about that wound, you stop feeling this shame, this fear, and your power comes out. Your pain shapes your gift. If you just need to alchemize it. So you need to get into the trenches and actually process the energy that has been stored within you. And you can do this practically via meditation. Don't go crazy, but do some meditation consistently. Don't force yourself. Sometimes you want to do it at the same time, sometimes you don't. See, this is where it's like, man, how do I put it? I meditated for 500 days straight, stopped meditating for multiple hundreds of days, and then started meditating again. And it's just like, for me, that was what I had to do. I needed the extreme discipline of 500 days straight. Then I needed man, I need to see what I'm like if I don't hinge myself and just staple myself to a forced discipline. And now I have more of a flowing relationship to that which feeds me and charges me and keeps me invigorated and strong. It's now a looser dance. And I can see that all of this is necessary for me to go through. And hey, that's sort of what I'm sharing here with you. That wherever you're at in your life, whatever circumstance, whatever cards you've been dealt, I know sometimes you need something, you want something. You say, like, once I get this, then everything will just be. But man, it's not like that. The world doesn't work like that. And we all have those ideas every once in a while, but I'm just being totally honest with you. You gotta learn how to let go of that mentality. And it'll come up. The only way you let go is through having awareness of it coming up. So I'm not judging you. I'm not saying any guilt nor any shame. Just notice it. Notice it. Let go of it. Keep the ball rolling. Choose the right frequencies through the correct actions. Notice the weakness. Giggle at yourself. Don't take it all so serious. You are where you're meant to be. And this entire journey, it's not just about you, it's about the whole. It's your individual human got to be selfish so you can have something to share with the whole, and then it's about sharing with the whole. But as you're changing, you need to keep the whole in your heart the entire time. Because there will be moments, periods, thoughts, days, hours where you're hinged upon, like, once I get this. But man, build for the whole and continuously do what you have to do to remind yourself, to bring yourself to that state where you have that devotion and that commitment, that faith, that trust that this just isn't for you. It's not about you. In having a selfless mentality and state, you actually fill your cup more than anything else could ever fill you. And that's the depth of this game. It's requiring you to let go of your logical identity, and live for something more than self-protection, than preserving the ego and preserving the self. Yeah, and then funny enough, you get health, you get wealth, you get joy, you get love, which keep the self flowing, right? That's the paradox. Now, if we look at number 3, the alchemical process, turning your wound into your wisdom, your pain into your purpose. I really think I almost already hit this, but let's still go into turning your wound into your wisdom. Directly, it is this admittance around what it is you get small from. There are going to be different habits, addictions, fears, moments, relationships, environments, situations, places, smells, taste, whatever. There are going to be these stimuluses that absolutely challenge you so deeply. Turning your pain into your purpose is, hey, if you're listening to this, first of all, you're doing so much already. Now, besides this, you can ground yourself. And then you can continuously make sure that you're not wasting your time on bullshit. So you ground yourself through exercise, through healthy nutrition, through enjoying the small things like cooking, scrubbing a dish, going on a walk with your dog, playing with your dog, cleaning yourself, hygiene, cleaning your house, working on a project, building something, working with tools, working with your hands, construction, carpentry, measurement, drawing, going outside, fresh air. The list goes on. You can ground yourself in so many different ways. Now, besides that, you kind of need to have some form of organizational structure. What I would recommend is you have a creative mode where you brain dump everything that is on your mind and then all the actions that you would like to do, no matter what it is. Then you come back in another session and you organize and you do that consistently, maybe daily, depends on what your life is, how much time you have on your hands, what you're doing, how much mechanical order you have in your life, and how much space and looser structure you have in your life. Because if you're working 60-hour weeks, hey, you're already put into a structure, and what you really want to focus on more so is the recharging and the rest. Like not wasting your time on technology when you're working 60-hour weeks because you don't even have that many hours that you're not working. So you might as well sit down and stretch, read a book or meditate, play with your dog, do something actually meaningful with your time when you already have to do so much logically at your career. So this is the alchemical process. It is a awareness of, man, I am going to talk structurally to you so that each one of you can resonate with what I'm saying. If I talk too zoomed in, then it's like, yeah, sure, one person may deeply resonate, but then it's just content. And that's really not what we're here for. We're here for a structural understanding of the nature of how this game works. And the alchemical process is just, hey, you're going to have pain. You're going to have emotional blockage. You're going to need to ground yourself. You're going to need that grounding to do the emotional, deeper work. And then, you'll need career to support yourself materially. And it's also a great distraction when you're doing shallow things practically from the deeper emotional things and from the fact that you are solely responsible for yourself on this journey. Now, when I say that, you're guided. Have faith. This is not a willpower, forceful thing that you need to will into existence. No, it'll all work out, but you need to put yourself into the state where you can actually say that and mean it. So that means if you're doing bullshit that puts you into a conscious vibration that you cannot say in the tone that I'm saying, the lightness, that it'll all work out, that means that you actually do need to change your actions because you are the sole creator. So if you cannot say it will all work out with a peace within your heart, then you want it to all work out, therefore change your actions because it is all in state. You see, as I speak in this manner, I'll give you like a cheat code. Basically, what I'm doing through this podcast, it is a business endeavor. It is a spiritual endeavor for myself. It is a confirmation I am taking the time and energy to speak the truth out into the world. That will come back to me. Am I doing it just for me? I'll be honest with you. No, I'm not. But does this help me? Yeah, it actually does. Like, so when you build your life from a win 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 standpoint in every way that you possibly can, it'll compound. We've been going a little bit long lately, honestly. I kind of want to turn all of these somehow, some way into a book. Because I've been thinking, I want to write a really, really big, deep, comprehensive, you know, 10 to 20 to 30 hour audio book. And also, it would be 500 plus pages. So I'm kind of thinking that somehow using the podcast as fuel would be one of the best ways to like start to at least compile reference information and get the clarity around where to go next. I just wanted to share that with you because if any of you have any um I'm open to help in this process. I realize that in the bigger works throughout time, sometimes it's not just a one person project. Now nowadays we have AI and technology where hey, I may be able to freaking cook this up, but just wanted to share that with you guys because the context is I have written my first book. It's 80 pages. It's kind of more like a manual. It is extremely practical and it is for the fitness topic because for me, fitness has been one of the biggest grounding pillars in my life for the past 20, 15 years. And I have probably over 10,000 hours in weightlifting and athletics. So I put together a book on how to really, it's 90 days, Greek God proportions, discipline, presence. And it's really a identity shifting book through practical fitness. Um, so if any of you want to make that health change in your life, looking to lose some weight and add some muscle, just knowing that this is my context where you hear me on the podcast, hey, check that out. I really put it together just to simplify my expertise practically into something that I know not everyone has the same expertise in. So hey, if you want to check that out, it's in the description. But the big book, that's what I'm really excited for as well. Um, so I don't know. I don't even know if I did the recap. Well, yeah, let's just look at the recap. The hidden cost. Every secret you keep requires energy to maintain. Energy that could be building your empire, charging your relationships, fueling your presence. The wound as gateway. Your deepest trauma isn't your weakness, it's the doorway to your most authentic power. Men who hide their wounds stay surface level forever. The liberation formula. Speak the thing you fear most. Feel the thing you've avoided long. Integrate what you've rejected and watch your entire life transform. Summary. The story you're hiding is the exact story someone needs to hear. Yes. Stop protecting the image and start living the truth. Your wound is not your weakness, it is your way forward. So, thank you so much. Genuinely, I am grateful for you. New episodes are out Monday, Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And like I said, we're working on the books. Check out the book in the description.